you for joining me today as we discuss a topic of growing interest. And frankly, it's a subject that is of significant and timely relevance for organizations of all sizes and across all industries. It's a topic I'm very passionate about: organizational culture. I'm passionate because I know the magnitude of impact that culture has had on the success and or the struggles of organizations. Having worked in cultures that were less than desirable, I experienced the stress that this placed on the human resources of a company, as well as how the bottom line suffered as a result. Conversely, I spent over 16 years working for a fantastic organization that really understood the value of a healthy culture, Land's End, the apparel and home products company that we all know and love. To help me explore the topic today is a woman who I have long admired, Lynette Dornink. Lynette and I worked together in the B2B division of Land's End for many years. And in fact, Lynette still works there. She just today celebrated her 25th anniversary at the company. Welcome, Lynette. I really appreciate
Thank
you
you,
taking
Penny, so
time.
much. Thank you so,
So
so
you
much.
just celebrated 25 years today, you said. Congratulations.
Exactly. Yeah, it's one of those things where time has flown, and yet it's been such a cool thing to work here and to have met people like you. It's very, very much a family here, which is wonderful.
That's awesome. Unlike generations past, it's really unusual for anyone to stay at an organization. And I think in this day, the average is about 5 years for someone to stay at a company. This pandemic has changed everything, though. That will that will probably drop. If I had to guess, Lynette, I would venture to say that the culture at Land's End plays at least a part in why you've chosen to remain there this long. Is that right?
There's there's no doubt. The brand of Land's End is what brought me here, and the culture has what has allowed me and made me stay here, I'll say. There is a community, a family feeling, a feeling of doing things together that
Mm,
it's priceless. So yes.
right. That's really neat. I know that I, like so many others, really appreciated the culture that was put in place by the company's founder, Gary Comer. He truly valued his employees and his customers, and it showed through in every aspect of the culture there. Would you agree?
Yeah, completely. You know, Gary started this company back in 1963, and he was uh, a writer, a creative writer by trade. And um, I know you remember some of his quotes, but one of
Mhm.
my favorite is the quote that says, again from Gary Comer, take care of the employees, they'll take care of the customers, and the rest will take care of itself. And it's simple, and yet it is really true. So yeah, he such an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And yeah, he came from Chicago up here to literally rural Wisconsin, farm country.
Right.
And here we are almost 60 years later.
I
So
know. I was doing the math the other day. I was like, wow, it's gonna be 60. I remember I was all excited with 50 years. Right. Now, I
right.
know what one of my favorite quotes from Gary Comer was, I will never be critical of any action you take on behalf of the customer. That simple statement empowered every employee there, from the people on the phones talking to the customer all the way down to the end of the process, the person packing up the orders to ship out to the customer. Everyone was empowered to stop the order or do whatever was necessary to ensure that the customer had a good experience. It was so powerful.
That is
So
completely true.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that the organization, the Lancet, is not about a lot of Gary Comer or inspirational quotes that are just hung on the walls of the offices and the campus there. But it really was a philosophy, and it still is a philosophy that's a living, breathing way of doing business. I found when I was there that people really took a lot of pride in working for
Oh
Lands.
yeah.
And is that true?
Yeah, completely. I know you mentioned about the idea of, someone that's on the phone or a person that's shipping the product. That extends out to also, the technical designers, people that are designing their product. They're thinking about, what have I heard that the customer wants? What have I heard her say?
Right.
In business, it is, what are the industries that are thriving, that, oh my gosh, if we did this, this would help them. And again, back to your point of at order time, then, what is it that in any situation, it's, this doesn't look right. Somebody needs to look at this. We
Right.
not only want people to do that, but it is, yeah, it's ingrained in the culture here. Like, if it
Right.
doesn't look right, say something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speak up. I know that,
Yeah, we're lucky.
I found that one of the reasons I thoroughly enjoyed working there was just how empowered it made me feel to be
Yeah,
able
you are.
to take control of the, I don't say, of the advancement of the business interests. It was
That's
something
right.
we all valued. And can you think of any other ways that Land's End has benefited from the legacy of Gary Comer or the culture that's there?
Yeah. I think probably one of the biggest things, again, he started in Chicago on Elston Avenue in 1963. And then in the early mid 80s, he was looking for a place to be able to build a company. Instead of, him and a dozen people, he could see, again, amazing entrepreneur. He could see the need for um, designers, merchants, to
Mhm.
be able to develop product and figure out, what is it going to look like, planners, inventory planners, that type of thing, as well as individuals like with what I work in, people being the voice with the customer,
Right.
um, finding individuals that would monogram items, embroider, hem pants.
Right.
And he came here to Dodgeville, Wisconsin. And I promise you, when I say rural, I mean it. We are surrounded by, to our west is this beautiful cornfield, and to our south is this beautiful soybean field.
Right.
And it changes every year
Right.
depending on how the crop rotation goes. But
Right.
what he knew, what he wanted was, people that knew how to work.
Right.
And in general, especially at first, what he found was women that were farm wives
Mhm.
that had work at home, but coming here and getting health insurance and a good wage was a wonderful thing for the economy and for their families.
Right.
That's how it started. And now it has moved into, we are one of the no doubt major employers in this area.
Yeah.
And it is, families work here.
Right.
Oftentimes people will say, Lynette, you work at Land's End, you must know my grandma. And remember, there's 5,000 people that work here.
Right.
And I'm like, what's her name? Because I might. But
Right.
yeah, it's families. It's
Yeah.
families that work here generation after generation.
Right.
And like right now, we're going through, you know, like us, like every other company in the nation, we're looking for people to help us during peak.
Mhm.
And it's a tough economy.
Right.
It is a employees, excuse me,
Mhm.
market.
Right.
And but still, we're looking for people that want to come and get a good wage, are hard workers and dependable. We can teach them how to do things,
Right.
no doubt. But that thing that's here, that we're lucky to have, that Wisconsin hardworking farm thing, it's
Yeah.
it's been a huge benefit to our company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's it's I think you kind of hit on a key point there that makes culture so valuable to any organization is the fact that when you hire like-minded people, to work within an organization, it doesn't matter what their skill set or their experience is really, because you can teach them the fundamentals of
That's
how
right.
to, but
That's
teaching
right.
them the values and the ethics and so forth that build an organization, that's what we call culture. You can't teach
Mhm.
that. And kind of going
That's
back
right.
to Lands End, working at Lands End and Gary Comer's vision for not just the company, but for the people that worked for Lands End, he was always giving back. And a huge example of that, of course, is the activity center and the Olympic sized pool and all that's involved in the activity center. It was his way of giving back. It was accessible and still is accessible to everyone who works there, even part-time or whatever, seasonal, can take
That's right.
advantage.
Retirees,
Yes,
everybody.
yes, yeah. So what a
Yeah. Yeah,
gift.
yeah, very, very giving man. And even even the idea of giving back to community, that's what we focus on here too. As you can imagine, we have organizations or businesses that come to us and say, will you support our golf outing that we're doing? Or will you support this particular event that's happening? And what we really try to focus on is if our community, if our employees are involved with it, we're all in.
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing. So, we have individuals. I have a couple things throughout the year that Lands End says yes to in donations, and I bet most employees do. And it's big organizations. It's the Heart Association. It's the
Mhm.
breast cancer research.
Right.
It, runs and walks and all the things that you'd think of, but it's really focused on um, if our if our employees are vested in it, Lands End needs to be vested in it.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, it's
That's
pretty
great.
dang cool.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So a twofold question for you. How important would you say culture is? We've talked quite a bit about it, so we've touched on that, but how difficult is it for a company to maintain a culture?
Yeah. You know, I think my experience, and you and I lived through some of those same times, Penny, um, when a vision of, a vice president or higher comes in and you were talking about how things didn't fit. On the other hand, when we stay tried and true to what Mr. Comer built here, and with the concepts of of what he knew worked and what have worked for this
Mhm.
many years, and that is, this sounds so simple. It is be fair, be kind, be responsible, be
Mhm.
respectful, have fun with each other.
Right.
Have like enjoy each other. And that is not only how employees interact, but that's what we want with our customers too.
Right. Right.
It's those same things.
Yes.
And here in, Lands and Business Outfitters, we are really fortunate to have relationships with our clients.
Mhm.
That's what makes this tick, is
Right.
that there's a retention of them, but it is, we actually just had someone retire, and she had been with us 37 years.
Wow.
And she, told the clients that she worked with that she was leaving and here's who they should contact. And the responses she got back, um, everything from, "Can I still share Christmas and birthday cards with you? Can I still do that?
Oh,
Because I'll
yeah.
miss you,
Yeah.
and I'll miss talking to you every month." And that's a pretty common thing.
Right.
And the idea of those relationships, yes, we sell product, yes, we sell services, and They are a wonderful quality, and the value of them is wonderful. How we do that is through relationships, and
Right.
that's culture. That is our culture. And, like, for example, my boss, so I just celebrated 25 years. I'm a youngin' compared to her. She just celebrated 42 years.
Wow.
And I'm surrounded within my peer group by individuals like one I can think of, Steve is at 35 years, Laura is at 27 years, Patty is at 19 years, only 19. Um, Margaret is at 23 years. It's pretty common.
Right.
And even with our consultants, that's what we call our folks on the phones that work with customers and business outfitters. Um, our average tenure is 10 years.
Yeah. That's
And
amazing.
I know it is, I know that's unusual.
Yes.
And, clients are wowed by that. And what we just try to do is not take that for granted. Like, of course, people stick around here. It's not that one's not simple because there's a lot of places people could go.
Hmm.
But
Right.
we have friends here, and it would be hard to leave here because of the relationships that have been built, and
Right.
because we're all marching toward the same things, and that is, what can we do to help businesses
Right.
grow? So
Right.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's cool. And that you're right. That's just such a fundamental thing. It's why I wanted to interview you today, and why I'm really focusing on culture in my business, because I'm work with and speak with and work with businesses all throughout the country who are struggling to attract and retain employees. And having spent all those years at Land's End, and I understand how it's not easy, but as you said, it's really simple.
It
At
is
the
simple.
same time, it really is
I
simple.
know.
Um, so I guess one final question then, for those who may be listening. Land's End is a sizable organization. You said there are 5,000 employees. So for all of our listeners who are owners of small to medium-sized businesses, or perhaps entrepreneurs and thinking about starting businesses, would you say that they should also give thought to developing their culture?
There's no doubt. And that culture starts with, you know, role modeling
Mhm.
and being what you want your employees to be with the customers.
Right.
And again, it is building trust, rapport, promoting the company, the respectful relationships. Um, when something goes wrong, do the right thing
Right.
and be fair. And oftentimes the question that we ask customers if something goes wrong is, what would make this better?
Mhm.
What do you think is fair?
Right.
And 99% of the time, what is suggested as a resolution, we can completely do that.
Right.
Sometimes there's extremes, but it's unusual. Um, so again, the idea of be what, be how you want your employees to be with your customers, and the word engaged has to be in there someplace.
Yes. Yes.
Be very present, be very engaged in the process, and let you started with this, Penny, let employees make decisions.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, you have to have policies, you have to have processes,
Yeah.
but give them the autonomy, like how far they can go, and then give them that, and
Yes.
then don't question them on it because you said it was okay.
That's
You know,
right.
no, no, like, oh, I probably would have handled it. Be quiet.
Right.
You told him it was okay.
Yes.
So yeah,
Good.
really important.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent input, excellent insights. Really appreciate your time, Lynette. I'm sad to say our time has run out. I could talk to you forever.
Me too.
And I could talk on this topic for hours. So I really appreciate your time, and being able to share your insights. It's so valuable for those in our audience listening to hear from someone, not just me, but someone else who has really lived a culture that has proved successful for many, many years. And I have to add to my audience, because I'm still a huge fan, that if any of you listening are not familiar with the wonderful products of Land's End, you have to check out their website today, landsend.com. It's no accident that a company with the history and culture of Land's End also produces phenomenal line of apparel and home products. And the business division, the business outfitters division Lynette spoke of, produces very high quality logoed apparel and custom products to make sure your team really feels like a team. That is so crucial now more than ever. So thank you again, Lynette. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Penny, so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. And for everyone else, please tune in next time. We're going to have another timely topic on supply risk management. It's, again, in this crazy world, there are supply chain issues and disruptions everywhere. So we're going to talk to an expert on that topic and hopefully find some good insights for you then. So until next time, thanks and have a great day.